Hello everybody, it's Starfighter here. I'm so glad you could join me for another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon. Every week I try to break it down for you guys, from the novels to the TV series to the comics to the video games. It can be really hard to stay up to speed on everything, so that's what I aim to do for you guys. So this week we have a big update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is the Last Jedi season. It's going to tie into the movie. Before I get started, I will be showing gameplay clips of the single player campaign, so if you haven't played the first part, you might want to skip a couple minutes ahead so you don't see any potential spoilers. Okay, with that out of the way, this actually picks up the Resurrection single player campaign, picks up right where the main Battlefront story left off. This does a great job of picking up kind of near The Force Awakens and leading us right into The Last Jedi. A really cool kind of tie-in way. There's 3 missions in total. It took me about a little bit over an hour, and that's dying a couple times here and there. So, you know, a pretty substantial amount of content compared to the 5 hours or so we got in the first bit of the main story. So you can expect a lot of variety, a lot of flying in space. There's some parts where you handle an AT-RT. And it's just a lot of fun. You learn a lot more about, the First Order, which is something I'm always just super curious about. So I really dug the story part of that. So moving into the multiplayer, we have the Last Jedi season. This is how Battlefront's going to work. They're going to have these seasons to get people involved. So you log in, you either choose the Resistance or you choose Captain Phasma. Depending on who you pick, you're going to get special epic star cards at the end of the season. To get those, the players have to play to do the daily challenges that you're going to have, and you're also going to have weekly challenges, and they all add up to see who wins, who's out on top doing more challenges. Whoever does gets the better star cards at the end of the season. So moving on to the hero characters, we have Finn and we have Phasma, and you can both unlock them for 0 credits as long as you log in during the Last Jedi season. So Finn, he has that ranged blaster with the scope, pretty nice for ranged combat. He also has a buff ability similar to officers. He also has some kind of lock-on ability for super precision, and he has this mode where he actually goes into a sprint and he pulls out his little pistol. Now moving on to Phasma, she's got that staff which we've all seen in the promotional material. It's kind of on a combo system. The 3rd strike in a row does more damage. She also has an ability to buff up her health, and she has this ability to lay down the turret. So lots of fun to be had with both of those new characters. Moving on, we have a new pilot in Starfighter Assault. This one's called Tali Linter, who's going to be a new character in The Last Jedi. She also has a ship that has a buff ability, among other things. And we also have a modification to Poe Dameron's X-Wing. He actually gets that thruster that you see in the trailer, and he's a unique player in this game now because he's the only fighter that actually has 4 abilities. So pretty interesting. Now moving on into the maps themselves. The first one is Crait, and holy crap, is this thing spectacular. I mean, first off, you could start as a ski speeder, and it jets out of the base, and this amount of verticality that you kind of get from just jumping out like 1,000 feet and landing in the surface. And they do this amazing tactic of, like we've seen in trailers, with the red smoke coming out of the ground. It is acting as a kind of mechanic to blind the enemy so they can't see, because otherwise it'd be pretty much a sniper map, but you can go underground. There's a lot of stuff to do under there. And the main crux is, if you are the Resistance, you are trying to destroy the walkers. And if you are the First Order, you're trying to just constantly push into the base. You eventually need to capture the transports in the hangar, and then you can actually destroy the power beacons that are inside of there. I thought it was really interesting because you could actually see some Voltexes walking around. That's the crystal foxes that we see in the trailer. So I really love this map, and it just makes me so excited to check out The Last Jedi and see how much this lives up to the reputation, because it is seemingly going to be one of the best ground battles, I think, in Star Wars history. Just playing the game alone, it has me believing that. And the other map we have is for Starfighter Assault, and that is the Battle of D-Qar. So basically the Resistance is trying to escape from the First Order, and they are trying to, the First Order is destroy these certain targets. Once they do that, they have to destroy these other targets, and then they can destroy these bunker buster new type transports that are similar to the Corvettes back in the day, the original trilogy. You have to destroy them, and after the First Order destroy them, they actually have to destroy 25 ships within a time limit. So it's interesting there. But what's really interesting is the mechanics with these gravity wells that actually will suck you in and kind of, just gyrate you around, and it makes a very kind of interesting gameplay mechanic to where, you're kind of getting pulled back in and pulled back in. So another cool map there. So that is everything in The Last Jedi season. What do you guys think of The Last Jedi season? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. So moving on, we have issue number 40 of Star Wars, and it's hard to believe that we're actually at issue number 40 already. Then again, it's been about 3 years, and this is part 3 of the Ashes of Jedha arc. So we have our heroes, Luke, Han, and Leia. They're still on Jedha. They're trying to recruit the help of the Partisans. While they're there, the Empire decides, hey, they want to have more Kyber crystals against. They send out this big drill, and that's where we pick up. So we have benthic 2 tubes and Luke trying to get inside the drill, turn down the shields. Meanwhile, you have Han and Leia and the Millennium Falcon attacking that drill, and they destroy it successfully. But the Empire, they're actually devising another planet. They have this Leviathan, huge extractor of minerals that's going to go into the planet, and there's not going to be anything left of Jedha by the time this story rolls around. It seems like that. But this ends with Luke actually going with one of these people that is from Jedha that worship the Force to this other cult that's going to teach him more things about the Force. So pretty interesting how we're continually getting that training that Luke has to get because he has no mentor between Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope. So what did I like about this particular issue of Star Wars? I liked, first off, Benthic killing people in front of Luke, and we all know Luke is, he's a lover, not a fighter kind of guy, and he's kind of questioning the methods of Benthic, who takes up right after Saw Gerrera, and it looks like, what are you doing? And Benthic keeps saying, don't stare. But I just love seeing Benthic 2 tubes in action because he's a cool looking character, and I would have loved to see him actually do something in Rogue One. I also think that the Leviathan is a pretty cool mining vehicle. If you guys watch Rebels in the first half of season 4, they actually had a very similar vehicle that was pulled out of Legends, the Dark Empire vehicle, the World Harvester or something like that. And that's kind of what they're doing with this. So I love them reaching back in Legends, kind of pulling stuff here and there. Another thing which is really cool is there's a conversation between Leia and Luke, and Leia kind of gives Luke what her motivation is. That one thing in her head that makes her tick to keep going forward with the Rebel Alliance. And that is her final memory of her father, Bail Organa. And they actually have this great splash layout page of her with Bail, and it's her and him giving her the mission to get this message. That's the only hope of the rebellion. So she kind of carries that inside her at all times as her moment of hope to just keep pushing forward because her father instilled that hope in her. So that was just a very touching part, which I did not expect to read about. Another thing about this issue is, wow, is Luke kind of annoying brat, because he's sitting there like, I want to do my Jedi training. And then you have Leia saying like, look, we have to care about the rebellion right now. It's more important than your little hopes of mysticism and stuff like that. And he keeps carrying on. And it's that Luke that, is in A New Hope. And it's a very unlikable character. So Gillen manages to do that. So there's that. And finally, the artwork, it just isn't really there for me. And it really hasn't been since the start. And there's certain panels that are just kind of very hazy. You can't really tell what character they are. And, comics are a very visual kind of medium. So if the visuals aren't there, it very much hinders the story in a way. And that's kind of how it is with me right now. The story is amazing. The visuals could definitely be better. Okay, so my channel regarding The Last Jedi content. I will be posting a reaction video as soon as I get out of the theater. That's tomorrow, which is on Thursday. So, expect that sometime Thursday night. All spoilers, so make sure you see the movie before you watch that video, because I'm going to go crazy. Everything off the top of my head. Not going to be a very structured video, just me kind of vomiting everything about The Last Jedi and that. And then in a couple viewings later, I will have my review, so hopefully the next week, because I'm not going to be able to review this thing on the first viewing because I'll be so much in that Star Wars bubble that everything is going to be praised probably. So I want to give myself some time to kind of absorb the plot and the characters before I give you guys my official score. As far as content for next week's video, I will be talking about The Last Jedi visual guide highlights. I will be talking about Cobalt Squadron, which is that young reader book that revolves around Rose Tico. I will be talking about Dr. Aphra number 15 and Poe Dameron number 22. But I want to hear what you guys thought about this week's episode. Are you looking forward to playing the new Battlefront 2 maps? What about your Last Jedi predictions? please make sure they're spoiler free. Also about Star Wars number 40. Are you guys enjoying the Star Wars comics? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other Star Wars content that I release on a weekly basis, so make sure you're subscribed so you get notifications whenever those videos go live. I'm Star Raptor. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always. The Last Jedi! Yes, so close! Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.